Thanks for letting us come and have a look at your facility today. Can you start by actually just explaining a little bit about what the retreat does?
Yeah, I think if we're going to talk about what the retreat does now, it's really important that we think a little bit about the history and where the retreat came from. And we've actually been running here for 218 years.
Wow.
We were one of the first progressive mental health organisations to set up in the UK. We were founded by a guy called William Tuke, really as a reaction to what was happening in the asylums back in the late 18th century. The predominant model for mental health care back then, well, it wasn't mental health care at all. It was about treating madness and containing madness. And William Tuke went to visit the York Asylum after there was a big story about somebody who had died in the asylum. He went to have a look what was happening there. And he was really quite appalled by the conditions that he found in the asylum. And he felt that something different needed to be done, that model wasn't working, that it wasn't right. And Tuke wanted to found an institution that was based on 4 key values. And those values were around providing mental health care with compassion, around focusing on relationships with people. Tuke really believed that recovery wasn't possible at all without good, solid, trusting relationships. He wanted to think very much about the environment that the care was delivered from. So he'd seen the environment that the asylums were operating in. And whilst from the outside, some of the asylums look like beautiful stately homes, from the inside, people were often living in small cell-like rooms, often with people packed in those rooms. And Tuke also felt it was really important that not only were people housed and looked after and cared for at the retreat, but they also had an occupation, that there was a purpose to their day. So the retreat is actually the birthplace of occupational therapy.
Now, one of the reasons why we've come over today is just have a chat with you about what we would like to do, working with you guys over the next couple of months. As an institute, as a region within the institute, we hold an AGM every 12 months. Yeah. And we've been, as a committee, we've been having a look at what we can do differently for our AGM. We've had careers fairs, we've had our members go out doing clay pigeon shooting and archery, and we just want to do something just slightly different. Yeah. And when we looked at the social angle of the institute, we thought we could actually match the social angle with our AGM, and we talked about it and quite openly. And as the companies that we get paid for, our day-to-day companies, we all do volunteering. We all have corporate social responsibility programs. But not the actual British Institute of Facilities Managers doesn't have one. So what we would like to do is to be the trailblazers really for the Institute and actually work with you guys for our AGM and come down and see you on the 8th, 9th and 10th of October, hold our AGM here, and then get a team of people together and actually do some work on some of the areas that you've got. Now, speaking to Peter, and who's nicely shown us around with Emma, we've looked at your charity shop, which needs lots of work.
It does.
Massive amount of work.
It's got lots of potential.
It has some fantastic potential. So we want to have a look at your shop, your library, and then there's some other areas that we'd like to actually pick up on as well. We've had a look at your Pets Corner. Your Pets Corner is absolutely fantastic, but it just needs a bit of oomph and colour. And I think this is where we as facilities managers can actually really help you with that. We've got the expertise. Hopefully, we've got lots of people within the region. We've got 1,800 members within our North region that we'd like to go out and ask them to come on board with us, provide us with some resources, with some people, come and join us at our AGM and say, look, let's come down to the retreat and donate their time, some reasons from their business, and even some cash to actually help us actually get this work done for you. How does that sound to you? It
sounds absolutely remarkable. And that kind of support can absolutely transform some of the work that we do here. The charity shop, it's not just a shop that we put staff in to serve people outside. The people that work in the charity shop are often patients at the retreat. We use the charity shop, it's part of our recovery college.
Yes.
We can provide training in there, volunteering opportunities in there, customer services, skills training in there. It's a great way for some people who are spending a significant period of time in hospital to get out of their unit, to do something practical, to go back to what Chuk talked about 200 years ago, to have an occupation, to have a purpose.
I mean, there's lots of elements, again, walking around and doing the tour with your guys. The enthusiasm is absolutely amazing. And we've looked at the garden that they've got. Yeah. We've looked at the charity shop that you've got, and the ideas about how to bringing those two together so that you grow your own products in the garden. Yeah. We can make better use of the charity shop for you, so you can actually sell those products in your charity shop, again, create better revenue stream for you. And actually, you know, so it actually helps then with with your residents as well, and plough that money back in to help their recovery.
There's so much potential for the shop, because I mean, you won't see it on this film, but the shop is on a main thoroughfare between the York University and the town. We have a constant stream of people walking past that shop.
Yes.
We just need to make it attractive enough to grab their interest, to bring them in. Not only can we then sell things to generate income to support our work, but we can also introduce people from the outside to the work that we're doing here, to get people mixing together so that people who are recovering from mental illness are not cut off and separate from the rest of the community. It's a great piece of work.
I'm really, really looking forward to working with you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I am so excited about this project that we've now agreed to do. I think having the meeting that we had at the Hilton and coming up with a social responsibility project, first in the North region, first for BIFM, is just absolutely brilliant.
Totally agree with that. Really looking forward to it.
This is our second session at the retreat. We've met both with David and with Peter, who's our contacts at the retreat. What would you see, and thank you for agreeing to be a project manager for this.
No problem.
What do you see as being the top 3 projects that we could actually make an impact from a facilities point of view?
I think we've got to look at the retreat in general. The retreat itself is absolutely lavished in history from its outset, and actually the way they work with the residents to develop the focus on getting them back into the community. The 3 real focus areas for us as being obviously the library. It's a zone of help and learning and development. It's in poor condition, it's old, it's in bad state of repair, so we need to focus on that, bring that up and help them develop and give them a learning space that's got the right colour, the right zone and the right fabric. Sounds a bit poor for a bloke to say that, but I think it's the right thing for us to do in terms of giving them the right environment for them to learn in. They've got a fantastic coffee shop which they use for the residents themselves. Which again it needs modernising. It needs to be developed into the modern day, where they can really have a great environment to have a breakout session, relax, chill out, have a nice coffee, interact with each other, and also it's a great learning space because they use it as a combined area for development. But I think most of all is actually the charity shop. They've got a fantastic facility there. And they've not exploited the benefit to it. The charity shop itself, any profits that they make, and it's run by the volunteers, so it's run by the residents themselves, but any profit they make, they reinvest back into a new development centre that they've got in the retreat. It's in poor condition, it's got very bad access, it's got poor lighting, displays are old-fashioned and of poor quality and poor standard. And also the range of products. They've got fantastic on-site facilities for baking and cooking, and an amazing vegetable garden for organic products. And the whole point of developing the charity shop is that we can exploit that. The retreat itself is very close by to a local college, and students, being students, are very organic and into organic foods. And because they use the retreat as a walkthrough, I think if we can exploit that, that'll improve the revenue generation that we're getting from the retreat and from the charity shop, and help them reinvest back into the new development centre and really drive forward sales and drive forward a real step change for them. So I'm really excited about them 3 areas. They're the 3 focus areas for me.
I think walking around this site as well, and you notice on the walls and in this room where we are here now, there's so much artwork that's been done by the residents, and photography as well. They've got some fantastic photography pieces. I think they'll be great to actually sell in the shop as well. So by expanding the actual charity shop, using the occupational therapy that they do here for artwork and photography and for baking and for gardening, is then feed those back into the shop, so then they can use the revenue to build more occupational therapy areas, to do more with the residents, and just have that self-fulfilling prophecy type of a thing for them.
It's a self-help and self-generation of resource that they've got, as you say, with the occupational therapy, the vegetables, the bacon, all of them things. They're doing it themselves as part of the Rock Health, selling it, reinvesting into the retreat. Fantastic.
Do you think we get lots of volunteers to help us out?
I'm certainly hoping so. This is the right arena. We've got 300 plus FM professionals. We're here to get their help.
So now it's over to you guys. On your tables you've all got a declaration of interest card. What we'd like you to do is to offer your services, not just money. We don't just want your cash. We need your help, we need your resources to come down, take part. As we said earlier, our AGM will be held on the 9th of October and it'll be held here in the retreat. Following the AGM, we will then be coming in, completing the projects that Mark's going to manage. But we need resources, we need paint, we need blinds, we need electricians, we need plumbers, plasterers, decorators, any help you can give us to help bring these areas so it's more fulfilling for the residents here. We've got the expertise that's actually sat there in the room now, could actually rebuild the whole building for these people. But all I want to do is to refresh, rebuild, and make the occupational therapy more interactive and help to create an extra revenue within the charity shop.
Your input will make a difference to hundreds of lives and a massive community. Please give generously, support us. Come on, don't be shy, help us out.
Thank you.